So if you're new into the world of everyday carry and pocket knives and ever wondered how could some blades have this amazing black color coupled with the texture, it looks like a war-torn knife, then let me tell you, in the world of everyday carry, this is known as acid wash and stone washing your blade. Some expensive blade companies, knife manufacturers, they make them out of the factory, but the good news is if your blade doesn't have that surface finish, then you could achieve it at home at a very inexpensive process. Coming up in this video, let's go. Hi, my name is Ayan, and on this channel I help you find the right tools for your daily life adventures, and the adventure that I'm talking about today is customizing your knife, making it look more badass, more premium, more sexy per se. If you are a fan of blackout EDC, then you will definitely need to have one acid washed and one stone washed knife in your collection. But the thing is, they can become really expensive and we don't have much options available in India. The good news is it's very easy to acid wash and stone wash your knife and give your blade this amazing finish, which almost looks like that it's like a developing patina on the steel. And let me tell you, this is something that we call stone wash, as I already mentioned. So this is the CRKT squid knife, one of my absolute favorite in my collection. And if you look closely, the blade, the steel is also blackout, and coupled with this sort of texture, we call it stone wash. It looks like patina over here. And in this video, I want to show you how you can achieve this finish at your home using very minimal tools and equipments. And the knife on which I'm gonna showcase you this is one of the favorite everyday India carry community knife. This one is the Axis 85, the Solganag 85 by Decathlon, and almost everyone in the community more or less have this knife. Trust me, this is not an easy knife to work with because it's made for end users, the campers, the hikers, but the good thing is you can still open it up and have the blade out and give this almost the same finish as you can see on CRKT squid, the stone wash and the acid wash. And for that you need some extra equipment, but before that allow me to give a quick disclaimer that this process, it's relatively easier, but it's still not for everyone. It involves real chemicals, acid, we are talking about sharp blades, we are talking about steel, and all these things can be really dangerous if not handled carefully. So please make sure that whatever I'm showcasing in this video, you do in a very open area, in a well ventilated environment, having your proper PPE equipment. And if you are a kid, then don't do it at all, or do it under adult supervision. Now that's out of the picture, let me show you everything that you require to achieve stone wash and acid wash. Alright, so first thing first, you will need a knife that you want to acid wash and stone wash. And as I mentioned, I'm gonna be using Solganag Axis 85 for this purpose. We need to open this knife and get the blade out, and we need screwdrivers for that. And yeah, for this particular knife, you're gonna be needing 2 screwdrivers, and I'm gonna talk about that in a moment. Moving to the next thing, you need to have some PPE gears for protection because we are using chemicals here. So you need to have an eye mask where you can protect your eyes if there is any splashes in the chemical. And similarly, you will need some silicone gloves like this. Next thing, you need this rubbing alcohol, also known as isopropyl alcohol. We will be using it to clean the blade before making it ready for etching. And you also need a cloth. Next thing, you also need a small nail polish, and no, you don't have to apply the nail polish before doing that, but I will tell you what we're gonna be using it for. You can borrow it from your mom, sister, girlfriend, wife, whatever. The next and the most important thing is you need an etching solution, and this is the solution that's gonna be using it for acid washing. So this is a ferric chloride solution, and usually you will find it at DIY electronic store because this is also used to etch PCB copper clad boards. So in India you can get it online, and generally speaking it's not available in liquid form online. So if you have to buy the crystals and make the solutions yourself. So I'm gonna put a small video down below where it will be shown how to make the solution with the crystals. But long story short, if you manage to get 50 grams of ferric chloride crystals, then you have to mix it with around 120 to 150 grams of water to make it a 1:3 ratio ferric chloride solution, which is great for etching. And always put ferric chloride to water and not water to ferric chloride. That's some basic chemistry that we have all learned. But yeah, do watch the video link below to make sure that you are doing everything right. And when you are making the solution, make sure you are in a well ventilated space with all the PP equipment. Next, we need a small jar with small stones, and I'm going to explain why. Then we need a small Scotch-Brite, a toothbrush, and a soap. So before we move ahead in the video, I want to quickly thank the sponsor of this video, and that is literally me. So earlier this year, I decided that the community in India for everyday carry and men's lifestyle is very, very small, and no one is making good quality products and products that we really need in the community. So I decided to make my own shop, make a lot of products and bring it to you people. The first product is launched on my website, apx.tools, the Acacia Vault. So this is the catch-all valet tray that will organizes all your everyday carry items and also desk accessories if you need that. Just put it in your wardrobe, your desk, or even in your doorway, so you'll never forget the things that you want to take it with you for your everyday carry. It is available in glossy and matte finish, so check out apx.tools and buy yours using the code AP10 to get discount on your first orders. Now back to the video. Alright, so for the first step, as I mentioned, we need to open this knife using screwdriver, and definitely make sure you have good quality hex screwdriver because you don't want to damage these screws. And as I mentioned, this is not a very friendly repairable knife because it has screw on both the sides, so you need to hold the screw from one side and then rotate it from the other side. That's the only way to open it up. Trust me, I have tried it and it took me a lot of time to figure that out. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use one of the screwdriver to hold it over here, and from the back I'm gonna bring it the screw out. And I'm using my electric screwdriver on one side and Zomi screwdriver on the other side, and that's one screw out. Similarly, I'm gonna remove all the screws. You can leave the screws which has this deep carry clip because that's not something that's holding the blade down, but you definitely need to remove this one because that's the main blade holding screw. Once all the screws come down, the knife will open very easily, as you can see. And make sure you keep all the spacers and all the washers very safe because you're gonna be needing it. Just note all the steps whenever you're opening the knife so you can put it back together without having much problem. But yeah, definitely keep these spacers and this washers handy. So as you can see, my blade is really dirty. So first let's clean it up with some rubbing alcohol, and then we will be making it ready for etching. So here's my isopropyl rubbing alcohol, and what I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be just spraying it on the blade and then wipe it down with my microfiber cloth. Like this. Alright, so the blade is now thoroughly clean, and for the next step, what we need to do is we need to take the nail polish and apply it to all the places that is making contact with another metal. And we want to do it because wherever you apply the nail polish, the etching will not happen because the etching process literally take the metal off the blade, and we don't want to mess up with the tolerances. So apply nail polish to all the places, but don't overdo it. So we're gonna take a small thread and we pass it to this hole, and that's what we're gonna use to suspend the blade. And you can also heat your etching solution a bit, make it a bit warm. That will give you better results, but it's okay if you don't do it. And we're gonna open it up, make sure you have the PPA kit ready, and then we're gonna fully expose the blade to the solution and make sure it's fully immersed, otherwise it will have a very bad result. So for the next step, I have transferred the solution from this beaker to the glass because my blade is bigger for this tumbler. And what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna fully immerse this blade into the ferric chloride solution and leave it suspended so I can bring the blade out. And usually this process of etching and acid washing your blade takes anywhere between 5 to 20 minutes depending on what kind of steel you have, how big the steel is, and how much of the black color you want on the blade. And I'm gonna keep checking it every 5 minutes to see the level of oxide layer that has been developed on the blade. And the moment I like it, I'm gonna take it out and rinse it under the water. And for that, I highly recommend to also keep the water with you in a bucket. So over here I have the bucket of water, and once I'm happy with the result, I'm gonna rinse the blade inside this bucket. But for now, we're gonna wait at least 5 minutes, and every 5 minutes you can check the blade and see the strength of the oxide layer. And the good part about acid washing your blade is not only your blade looks good, but it also protects it from daily corrosion and gives it a little extra life. So currently it's almost 2 minutes and you could see the oxide layer is being deposited over here. So I'm gonna continue keeping it over here for longer time, and I think usually around 15 minutes or 20 minutes we're gonna be seeing the results. So I'm gonna fast forward the video and see you when the results are ready.
One eternity later.
Alright, so it's almost 15 minutes. Let's check the blade now. And I think for now I'm happy with the results. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna submerge this into the water over here. And yeah, if probably I would have more time, I would have gone for a darker shade, but I think for now that is really good. It's also not the best steel out there, but yeah, I think we have got quite a much of the darker shade from the acid wash, and look at that. That looks absolutely stunning. So let's keep the solution for later use. Maybe in some other tutorial I'm gonna show again with a different steel, and that's not gonna be of use as of now. But as I mentioned, you can store it for later use as well. But for now, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna clean the blade and make sure that there is no oxide residue on the top. And for that, you need to do a back and forth water draining, and I'm wiping it with this. What you can also do is you can use a Scotch-Brite, and that will make the job a bit easier. Look at that. That's a oxide residue that you don't want on your blade. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give it another rinse. This time I need to remove this nail polish. So I'm just gonna use some more rubbing alcohol. So that's how it's looking, and as you can see, after removing the nail polish, you can see the before and the after effect. Alright, so we acid washed the blade and now it's time for the stone washing, and for that you need just two things. Number one, you need a container, and number two, you need some stones, and these stones you can get from the garden, you get from Amazon. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna pull out some stones, and these are the stones that I'm gonna be using, and few I'm gonna let it keep inside. I'm gonna dip my blade in this container, make sure the entire blade is gone, and then I'm gonna put some more stones. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna add a little soap and fill it up with a little bit of water. And once that is done, you just need to close the lid and gently shake it. Make sure your shakes are not very violent, otherwise it will ruin the blade, but keep it very gentle. Alright, so that is the stone washing. Now let's check out the blade. I think it should be ready by now. Look at that. It's definitely not perfect, but I think that's the best we can do in front of the camera. And I really like it. If you look closely, all the patterns, this is by the stone wash, and the black thing is by the acid wash. So let me give it a quick clean, quick wipe, and then we're ready to assemble back our knife. Alright, let's put it back together, and we just need to make sure that everything goes in place. As I was mentioning, this is not the best steel available out there, but I also tried the acid wash over here on the back scale, and it also looks really good. Now to assemble it, we need to make sure that everything is in place. So this was the spacer which is here. Over here we had a washer. Then we need to put the blade like this. Then there is this another washer, and finally a metal washer, and that's all about it. And we need to put it back, making sure everything goes on the place. Alrighty, so that's how it looks. And as I mentioned, I also acid washed the scale, which looks phenomenal. I actually like this one better than the blade, and I think in the future I might need to revisit this blade and do another coating because I'm not very happy with the result. But yeah, that's what you get with the budget knife. But yeah, that being said, I hope the process of acid washing and stone washing a pocket knife is clear and you can do it on your home. If you do it, then do post a story and tag me, and also share it in our Everyday Carry India community. But before you go, do watch out this video where I showcase my entire collection of my pocket knives, and this video where I showcase my urban EDC must-have tools. Thank you for sharing at the very end, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.